I do want to welcome everybody here today, and I will say that this is the first time we've had a press conference in the new Brian D. Jellison Cancer Center in this in the conference room by the Round. So if we mess it up, I'm sorry, all right? But we do appreciate having everybody here. I want to take just a quick minute and introduce several of our board members, the healthcare system board members that are here with us today. Victor Rohe, just say hi. There you go. Mr. Carter, Greg Carter, and Sharon Wetzler de Peters. And I see two more of my board members, or bosses as I call them, walking in right now. So Britt Reiner, give one of these, Britt. There you go. And Sarah Lodge. Also, we have to thank our Healthcare Foundation, because without them, a lot of this never gets off the ground and happens. And we do have our board chair of our foundation here today, Ms. Deb Kavanaugh. So Deb, thank you for leading that organization. So we are thrilled to host Congressman Steube's first official event since his accident, and happy to see him on the road to recovery, thanks to the expertise of our incredible trauma team. For those of you who don't know, Greg was born and raised on the Suncoast and has been representing our community for many years. Before he was elected to Congress in 2018, he served in the Florida Senate and the Florida House. And Congressman, you and I spent many hours in your office there talking about things just like we're seeing today, so I appreciate all your support for all those years. But his commitment to public service began long before he got in politics. He answered the call to serve in the War of Terror following the September 11th attacks. Enlisting in the U.S. Army, Greg served with distinction as an airborne infantry officer and a JAG Corps officer. Both the Sarasota campus and our new Venice Hospital are in the 17th Congressional District, and we're fortunate to have his leadership and advocacy. We're also grateful that our trauma team was here to help him after his accident. I'd like to take a minute or two to highlight our outstanding staff. Just yesterday, our team underwent a rigorous on-site survey by the state to renew our official designation as a trauma center, and I'm happy to report it went extremely well. So thank all the staff that are here today. Given the expertise and dedication of the team that comes at no surprise, we have highly specialized trauma surgeons, emergency physicians, and subspecialists, exceptional trauma and emergency nurses, as techs and support staff, and they all provide a top quality life-saving care. In fact, since the Trauma Center opened in 2015, it has exceeded all expectations, both in terms of meeting the community need and delivering excellent outcomes. The team treats over 4,800 patients annually, far more than anything we had ever projected, and perhaps more importantly, the mortality rates for our trauma patients are significantly better than any national benchmark. That means when every second can mean the difference between life and death, our community can count on our trauma team to deliver the highest level of care using the most advanced techniques and technology. And I'd like to point out that this excellent performance extends throughout the hospital, even during the past few years when we faced challenges of a global pandemic. In the coming days, you'll be hearing more about some of the positive outcomes, including the fact that our COVID mortality rates were 24% better than the state and national benchmarks. Our care across the board is truly exceptional, and it starts the minute a patient enters our facility. Thanks to the amazing physicians and staff here today, I'd like to also thank our trauma leadership team, Dr. Alia Raleigh. Doctor? Where are you? Oh, Sue Olson. Sue, would you wave? Thank you. Jen Sweeney, where are you, Jen? I saw you. There you are. Amy Miller, where's Amy? There you are, Amy. And Dr. Brian Berry. Dr. Berry, you here? He must have got called away, but he was going to represent the ER physicians that were very instrumental in all this. Now I'd like to turn the mic over to our guests who have witnessed firsthand the tremendous work of our trauma team. Before the Congressman speaks, we're going to hear from another very special guest who wanted to thank our trauma team as well. He really needs no introduction. The king of the high wire himself. Is that how we introduce you now? Okay, Nick Lawinda. Come on up, Nick. I would just say one more thing. All right. In 2017, our trauma team cared for his sister and 2 other members of the Flying Lawindas following a fall rehearsal. Again, we're grateful to be able to provide that life-saving care. And Nick, thank you for being here.
Thank you. Appreciate it. Thank you, David, and thank you, Congressman Steube, for allowing me to be here to be a part of this recognition of our great, incredible trauma center. And I say our because I take great pride in the fact that we here in Sarasota have our own trauma center. As David mentioned, in 2017, my family and I were training to break a world record for the highest 4-level 8-person pyramid on the wire. And halfway out on the wire during a rehearsal, 30 feet above the ground, that was the lowest person. My aunt was over 50 feet above the ground. My worst nightmare became a reality when that pyramid collapsed. And immediately following that accident, of course, ambulances arrived and carted my family off to actually 3 different hospitals. But by the grace of God, 3 of them ended up here at our trauma center, and I'm so grateful for that. My sister being one of them, who broke every bone in her face, landed on her head from over 45 feet above the ground, broke many other body parts, was eventually in a coma and didn't even know if she was going to survive. And miraculously, not only did she survive, but within a year and a half of that accident, she walked across Times Square with me live on worldwide TV. And I do attribute that recovery, that quick and speedy recovery, to the incredible trauma center, Dr. Ali in particular, who played an instrumental role in saving my sister's life, and as well as 2 other family members. So I have a debt of gratitude to Dr. Ali and this trauma center. So again, Congressman Steube, thank you for allowing me to be here, and thank you guys for all the hard work and dedication that you guys put into making this a very successful program. Thank you.
Invite the Congressman up for a special presentation.
Just a little slower these days, so you got to give me some time. Well, thank you all for being here. I first want to just thank all of you for taking time out of your schedule to be here, to recognize what we have here in Sarasota. You know, it's not too often that we get an opportunity to recognize the things that all of you are a part of and all of you do here. Having grown up here, had the opportunity, my family's, on my dad's side of the family, has been in Sarasota for 3-4 generations. On my mom's side, we've been in, I don't find, maybe I'll just put them over here. Yes. So my family's been here for generations, and we know exactly what it means to have this gym, and as Jen and I were talking last night, this treasure in the Suncoast that is Sarasota Memorial Hospital. So I just want to thank you all for being here today, because SMH doesn't get the recognition that you sometimes see. David talked about the 4,800 patients a year that are treated here, and I went to law school, so my math's not that good, but that's 13 patients a day. And so think about the impact that that's having on the community, and but for people like Nick's family, and but for me being here, the attention happens because of something like that. But every day, on average, there's 13 patients that go in and out of the ER and the trauma center here. And the unsung heroes, all of you, Dr. Ali's team and all of you who spend so much time taking care of all these residents and the people here. And I thought it was appropriate and important that we have the TV cameras here and the folks here today to bring attention to this treasure in our community, because it goes unsung for so long, and every day you guys come to work and save people's lives, and it's not mentioned in the paper, it's not mentioned. You do your job every single day in saving people's lives, and you go home with the heart that is knowledgeable of the things that you've done to help people and save people. But the community sometimes looks over the fact that we have this gym right here in this community. I would imagine most of us don't appreciate having a state-of-the-art level 2 trauma center providing unparalleled care in our region until we actually need it. So my goal today is to bring attention to this center, and my purpose today is twofold. First, I want to recognize SMH's Trauma Center, and second, I want to recognize Dr. Ali. His leadership on the as the trauma's medical director leading this great team. And David hit some of the high points, but I want to restate them because I think it's worth restating. SMH's care system provides the region's greatest breadth and depth of care with more than 1 million patient visits each year across its 2 hospital campuses, freestanding ER, and network of outpatient centers. Its flagship 901-bed hospital in Sarasota has been consistently recognized as one of the best in the nation, with superior patient outcomes and a comprehensive network of services, including Sarasota County's only trauma center. The trauma team, which treats about 4,800 injured patients annually, which David hit on, includes highly specialized board-certified trauma surgeons, emergency physicians, subspecialists, and trauma and emergency care nurses. I know when I started to come to in the ICU, there was a whole lineup of doctors. It was the ortho guy, it was the neuro guy, it was Dr. Ali, the trauma guy. It was several different aspects of the team, all of working together to ensure that patients are getting the care that they deserve. The program's survival rates consistently outperform nation benchmarks. And I think it's important for people, and I wish I'd have blown this up, but I, of course, didn't think about it. And so I'll text this and put it on Twitter or something so everybody can see it, because I know the press is going to want to see this. But I think this is very illustrative of the things that are happening here in SMH. Since the trauma center's inception, look at the downward trend of mortality rates right here. And so quarter 2 of 2022, 1.28%. Now the benchmark is 4.31%. So well below a nationwide benchmark is the results that we are getting right here in our community from the care. And those numbers are illustrative of the direction that the trauma center has, but every one of those numbers are lives. Those are people. Those are people that are still standing before you today, maybe on crutches, but are still standing before you in enjoying life with their families, enjoying life in our community because of the care that they have here at SMH. So I think it's really, yeah, absolutely. And just yesterday, under Dr. Ali's leadership, the Trauma Center, and David mentioned this, had 0 deficiencies in their Florida Department of Health FDOH site survey for verification, which he will tell you and other physicians and folks will tell you it's not easy to go through that process and get those certifications. So the first thing I want to do is I'd like to call up Jennifer Sweeney, the manager of trauma services, and I would like to present the Trauma Center a flag. One of the cool things that you get to do as a member of Congress is you get to fly flags over the nation's capital in honor of someone or some group or something. So first I have, again, my movement here is a little, maybe I should have you come up here.
It's understandable.
Yeah. Okay, here we go. So I got it. So first is a congressional recognition for the Trauma Center. So this is for all of you that serve at the Trauma Center. This is a congressional recognition for what you do for our community in Sarasota and our nation. And again, one of the cool things that I get to do is fly a flag over our nation's capital. So this flag flew over the Capitol in honor of the Trauma Center. So I want to thank you for what you do. Thank you. Oh yeah, I got one more thing. All right, I got one more thing too. Wait, hold on, let me try. Oh, that
You
one's.
gave me the wrong one.
No, you got it. So people don't think I'm lying and just picked up the flag at the store. This is the actual certificate that shows it was flown over the Capitol and on the Trauma Center.
That's amazing.
And then as a military guy, we're big on military coins. So when I got elected to Congress, I made a coin. And I also like to give these out with the certificates as a token of my thank you as a member of Congress to you. So thank you. You get to take this. Yeah. That's for sure. Thank you. All right, and leading this team is Dr. Ali, who I've had the privilege to get to know over the past month. I wish it was under different circumstances, but nonetheless a privilege to get to know him. The Lord placed Dr. Ali and his gifted team in my path the day of the accident, and I remain endlessly grateful for the care that I received during my recovery here at SMH. Dr. Ali was part of the initial group, so that graph that you saw of that downward trend of mortality rates is in part to his leadership, because he has been here this entire 8 years that the trauma center has been here, and is responsible for the lowest mortality rates in the country. Our community in Sarasota is very fortunate to have Dr. Ali in this trauma center. You can probably find a trauma surgeon with the required skill, and you could probably find a trauma surgeon with a good heart for his patients. But I would submit to you that it is very rare to find a trauma surgeon that has both the skill and demonstrable numbers and outcomes, and the heart and compassion for his patients to ensure the level and quality of care that we expect. And that's what you have here at SMH with Dr. Ali. Dr. Ali and his team are the unsung heroes that go to work saving lives every day. There are countless stories, like mine and Nick's, that happen every single day, and countless lives that have been saved because of Dr. Ali and his team. So on behalf of a grateful patient, a grateful community, and a grateful nation, I want to personally thank you for your commitment to excellence and your commitment to the lives of your patients and this community. And as you're coming up here, one of the funny things that I can't remember if it was the day I was leaving or the day before, but he comes in with a very serious and somber look on his face, as doctors do, with his vest on and everything. And he's like, Greg, I added something to your allergy list. And I'm like, I'm not allergic to any medicines. What are you talking about? He's like, I added extension ladders and chainsaws to your allergy list. So with that, I want to thank you. And we have a certificate for you specifically of congressional excellence to Dr. Ali Al-Rawi. A flag flown over the nation's capital in honor of you, Doctor.
It's my honor.
Yep. And then there's a certificate for that. And I've got a coin for you as well.
Thank you.
So thank you. And I would like to turn I'm going to need my crutches again. Yeah. And I want to turn the microphone over to Dr. Ali to say a few things.
It's amazing. We love you.
Wow. What an honor for the trauma team. I don't do speeches. I don't do very well when I speak, but today is a day that we celebrate. I would like to thank the congressman for giving us this opportunity to show the community what we do and how we do it. Again, I don't do speeches, and my wife is sitting there and my son is there, so it might be a little bit emotional. But I start with, first, I want to thank God for your recovery. I want to thank you for sharing your time with us here to acknowledge our team. This cannot happen at any better time. As everybody mentioned, they stole my thunder. We did have a very successful Florida Department of Health site survey yesterday here in this room. And the team that stands there in the back is the one who did it, not me. But I will address each one of them in a minute. But this acknowledgement really means a lot to me and the team that works day and night to work on those 4,800 patients, 5,000 tomorrow, 6,000. David needs to build another tower for us next door because of the amount of patients we get here, and we're very proud to be the leaders of trauma in the state of Florida. Congressman Steube, you made my mother very happy. She prayed that she wanted 2 of her 8 kids to be successful physicians. In Iraq, being a physician is not successful, but once you get recognized, I think that's the success. I did talk to her yesterday, and I told her what's going to happen, and she said, my prayer has been answered, thanks to you. My passion for trauma goes back 30 years ago. we were involved in a car accident. I lost my little sister. My mother ended up on a wheelchair because of a spinal cord injury. And I couldn't do anything. We did not have a trauma center nearby to save my mom. But I can assure you, if we had a trauma center like this, my mom would not be on a wheelchair today. And I did make a promise to my mom and my little sister that passed away that I will make a change. I came to this country, the land of freedom, in 2001. And it was very hard for an international medical graduate who finished from University of Baghdad to get a position in trauma and to practice medicine in this great nation. The faculty at the University of Florida, Jacksonville, adopted me and made me the surgeon I am today. And for all the Gators in the room, I salute each one of you. I know we have a lot of Bulldogs here. I love you too. And I really want to take the moment to acknowledge a couple physicians that trained me. They're the legends of trauma, Dr. Joe Tepass and Dr. Eric Freiberg. May God be blessed with their souls. They gave us the trauma torch that we carried from Jacksonville here to Sarasota. We planted the seed here 8 years ago, and this is what you see here today. The secret to a successful trauma program is to have three main components. One is the trauma surgeons, the backbone of the program. And I can assure you, we have a very highly skilled group of surgeons. And please, if you're a trauma surgeon in this room, raise your hand. Second is my trauma APPs, the soul of the team. I have 16 of them. And please, if you're here, raise your hand. And last but not least is the trauma staff, the hidden soldiers, the ones that make the quality of care and make sure the quality of care has been maintained. Jen and your group. And we're very, Leanne and Andrea. And we're very blessed here at Sarasota Memorial Hospital to not only have the three main components, but we actually have the best of the best. We have a team that can work and mesh together and keep the slowest national mortality rate that we take pride for. I would like to thank my wife of 22 years and my kids for supporting me to do my job. I know I have missed a lot of important events in my kids' life, and I hope they understand why. And for my little daughter, or middle daughter, Judy, the princess, she couldn't make it because she's in school. I miss her birth. I was in the operating room when she was born. And until today, she reminds me anytime she wants to get away with it, she says, "Baba, Daddy, you never attended my birth." And I remind her and I tell her, there is a reason why I do what I do. The reason is so Kristen, our teacher, who survived her injuries, can get married and have a beautiful baby named Kinsley. Is Kinsley here today? Kinsley. What a princess. So our grandpa, Durgan, we call him Chainsaw Durgan, who survived his fatal injuries, traveled the world at age 82, and celebrated Christmas with his grandkids. So the Walendas, I call him my friend, can survive their fatal fall and be back on the high wire, not once, not twice, not 3 times, forever. And finally, so our congressman, can mend his injuries, and listen to this one, be able to win the congressional baseball game on June 14th in DC. And I will end with this. I wish and I pray you guys continue the support for our program. I pray that God's protect our team, and I pray that God's protect you all. Thank you.
Before we get some photos, I wanted to give the media an opportunity to ask some questions. So I'll have the congressman and our president and CEO up here to answer any of your questions that you might have.
And we're just doing issue specific, right?
Issue specific, yeah.
Well, I'm happy to answer a question about balloons, but I'm sure David doesn't want to answer a question about balloons. So,
Questions about balloons can be asked.
yeah, we can do that after.
I can see things.
Oh, thanks.
Hi, Congressman. This is Brittany Muller with WFLA News Channel 8. I just wanted to see how you're doing. How's the recovery process been? Can you tell us a little bit about that?
Yeah, it's been great, and I've talked about this publicly, so I don't mind going into the injuries. I had a concussion. I tore the ligaments in my neck, not completely, thankfully, and had, I call it a contusion in my lung? Is that medically correct? I don't want to say the wrong medical terms here. Okay, which is why I can't fly and go to DC until March 1st, is the date that should be resolved. And then I cracked, and I'm going to say this right too, the acetabulum over the pelvis. See, I'm learning stuff. And so I have to be non-weight bearing for that 6 weeks, and then God willing on March 1st, that will be healed and I can start progressive weight bearing again. But we're doing, it's a miracle that I'm here. It's a miracle that I'm so recovered as I am at this point. And I actually had the baseball coach today text me and say, make sure you're doing everything the rehab guys are telling you to do. So I'll make sure that I pay attention.
Congressman, Kim with Fox 13, just seeing everybody here again today, hearing the story not only of yourself but of the others, how does it make you feel? You did speak about it, but just once more, how does it make you feel that this hospital is right here for our residents?
Well, like I said, it's a treasure for this community, and I would submit that the majority of people in Sarasota don't even realize that we have a level 2 trauma center here until they either fall off a ladder, or they're in a car accident, or they're in a boating accident, or something significant happens to themselves or a family member, and they show up here and then suddenly are appreciative of the investment that SMH has made in a trauma center in this region. Because I'm sure you're seeing patients not just from Sarasota, but in the region, because there's not other level 2s close by. So you don't realize the benefit to the community until something happens that you see that it's there, which is, I think, my main purpose in having this event today, was so that every citizen of Sarasota County can see how lucky that they are that they live in a community where if something, God forbid, does happen, you have very strongly skilled staff and doctors here that can provide for their medical needs.
David, Eric Wilson with SMH. You always speak about not yourself, but of the team. So in moments like this, you could just speak to, today, moments like this where you really embrace the team dynamic of what SMH has to offer the community.
Well, that's a great question, because I was actually going to hit that in my notes and I forgot to hit that. Well, I want to hit it and then David can talk.
I'm not getting in front of him.
Being a former military guy, a team is very, very important. And I don't care if you're a Navy SEAL team. I don't care if you did the stuff that I was doing in Iraq and spent some time there. If you're a part of a military operating unit, you have to operate as a team. If you do not operate as a team, then you're not going to be as successful. And I think Dr. Ali hit how important that is, and thanking the members of his team that are here. It's not just the surgeons that make all of these things happen. And having that military background, you see the successes of having a very strongly trained, knowledgeable team working together in cohesion to accomplish a goal, and that's exactly what they have here at SMH.
Wow, okay, I don't know how you follow up on that, okay? No, you're great. I'm very proud of this organization. I've had the privilege of being in this organization for almost 17 years now and leading it for the last going on 9 years. And I remember when we started the trauma center, and what it was a response to the community needs. There was not, that we would have people that get into accidents in front of the hospital and get transported to Tampa or get taken to Miami to be taken care of instead of coming in here. We said that wasn't acceptable as a community. We said it about different things too, cancer, various programs that we've done over the years. And this community stepped up and put the resources behind this organization that we needed to do everything that you've spoken of today and that Dr. Ali spoke of as well. And I just couldn't be more proud to be part of it and to help assemble the team. It's that team that Congressman Steube recognized earlier that makes all this stuff happen. And thank you. So I apologize to all the people who live around here who now have more helicopters coming in and out. But every time you hear a helicopter, there's another life that gets saved and another life that comes in here that would not quite probably have made it otherwise. So that's what you take away. That's what gets you up every morning and gets you to enjoy this job, enjoy what we do. It's hard work. It's hard what everyone does here. Everybody has different opinions, but we all come together for a common goal. And I think it's emblematic of that helicopter you just mentioned. That's what we're all about. It's about that baby that comes in here. It's about that car accident person that comes in here. It's about a congressman who shouldn't be on a ladder. And we're just proud to be able to serve this community day in and day out. And we thank you for everything that you do. Thank you. Okay. And I got to tell you, I mentioned earlier, I spent more hours in his office, and I mean, I think he probably said, it's David again, okay? But it was just such an honor to get to tell you our story. He always supported us when he was in Tallahassee and still in Washington, but my focus was in Tallahassee. When this organization needed the permission to become a trauma center, he was there behind us, okay? When this organization needed permission to build a hospital down in Venice, he was there behind us, okay? Congressman Steube has been there with us every bit of the time, and we thank you for your service and what you've done for us, okay? Thank you, my friend. All right.
Congressman Larry Phillips, ABC 7. Sometimes when people survive a traumatic accident like this, they take a look back and get reflected. Does that process happen for you?
Well, the blessing in all this is an hour before to probably the next day in the ICU, I don't remember anything. So I don't have to relive that incident, and I get to listen to, and the story is just absolutely fascinating. For those of you that don't believe in God, you will after you hear the story, and for those of you that believe in God, your faith will be completely transformed by the events that occurred. If that Amazon driver would have been there 5 seconds earlier, 5 seconds, and I know who he is, we're friends, he would have waved at me, I'd have waved at him on the ladder. He's used to seeing me up on a ladder with a chainsaw. He'd have driven on his way. If he'd have been there 5 seconds later, I would have been on the ground, and he wouldn't have been able to see me from the road where I was, and he would have had no idea I was there. Things so simple as, for the first time in the 30 to 50 times that he delivered to our house, thanks to my beautiful wife Jennifer, who likes to order Amazon packages. You do, don't give me that look. Well, she likes to say it's now I got to order more on Amazon so that they can come and save you. For the first time, in the 30 to 50 times he delivered to our house, Amazon routed his route differently. So when he pulled up to our house, the driver's side was facing where I was. Had the van been the way he's always driven, he would have never seen or heard me, because when he would have walked around the van, the limb would have gone down and he would have known what it was. So just the blessing of all of that, and having the opportunity to stand here and give back to the community, I think is just an opportunity that I will cherish. And you certainly look at your life a lot different from a time perspective after an incident like that occurs.